This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Good to have you here with us again.
Hi there. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're really glad you've decided to spend some time with us.
Absolutely. You know, we always appreciate you choosing our podcast when there are so many other things you could be doing right now.
That's right. Whether you're commuting, having breakfast, or just taking a break, we're happy to be part of your day.
So, we've got quite an interesting topic lined up for today's episode. I think you're going to find it pretty engaging.
I agree. It's something we've both been looking forward to discussing, and we hope it sparks some thoughts for you as well.
Before we dive in though, Mia, how's your day been so far?
Oh, pretty good actually. Started off with a decent cup of coffee, which always helps. How about you?
Can't complain. Ready to get into today's conversation, that's for sure.
Perfect. Well then, shall we get started?
Let's do it.
So, Max, I have to ask you something. Have you ever made a mistake at work? Like a proper oversight that made you think, oh no, what have I done?
An oversight. Now that's an interesting word, isn't it? For those listening, an oversight means when you fail to notice or do something, usually by accident. It's basically missing something important without meaning to. And to answer your question, yes, I definitely have. I remember once I scheduled 2 meetings at the exact same time. I completely overlooked that I'd already booked the first one.
Oh, that's awkward. What did you do about it?
Well, I had to reach out to both groups, apologize, and reschedule everything. It was embarrassing, but people were understanding about it. What about you? I imagine you've had your share of workplace mistakes too.
Absolutely. I once sent a report to the wrong client. My heart just dropped when I realized what I'd done. I immediately called my manager, explained what happened, and we worked together to fix it. The key was addressing it quickly, rather than hiding it and hoping no one would notice.
That's such an important point. Being honest about errors and taking responsibility makes all the difference. Which actually brings us perfectly to our first conversation of the day. In this scenario, we're going to hear a workplace situation where someone has made a mistake and needs to talk it through with a colleague to find a solution.
Let's listen in and see how they handle it.
Julian, hey, do you have a minute? I really need to talk to you about something, and honestly, I'm not sure how to fix this on my own.
Sure, of course. What's going on? You look stressed.
I am. So, you know that presentation we've been working on for the Anderson account? The one we're supposed to present to the client tomorrow morning at 9?
Yeah, the big pitch. What about it?
Well, I was making some final updates to it last night from home, and I think I accidentally saved over the original file with an incomplete version. The problem is, I can't find the backup anywhere, and now we're missing about half the slides we need, including all the financial projections and the timeline we spent weeks putting together.
Wait, so you're saying we don't have the complete presentation anymore? How did that happen exactly?
I was working on 2 different versions, trying to compare them, and I must have clicked save on the wrong file. I didn't realize it until this morning when I opened it to do a final review. I've been searching through every folder, my email, the shared drive, everywhere I can think of, but I can't locate the original version anywhere.
Okay, take a breath. This is definitely not ideal, but let's think through this logically. Did you check the version history on the file? Sometimes you can restore previous versions if it's saved on the cloud.
I tried that first thing, but apparently I had been working on a local copy on my laptop, so there's no version history available. I know, I should have been working directly from the shared drive. That was my first mistake.
All right, well, what's done is done. We can't change that now. Let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly what was in those missing slides? Like, could you recreate them if you had to?
Some of it, yeah. I remember the general structure and most of the key points we wanted to make, but the financial data, those specific numbers and projections, I'd need to pull those from the original sources again, and that took us hours to compile and format properly.
Right, but we still have access to those sources, don't we? The quarterly reports, the market analysis, all of that should still be in our research folder.
True, yes, they should be. I hadn't thought about going back to the raw data. Do you think we could actually pull this together in time?
I think we have to try. Look, it's 3 in the afternoon now. If we both stay late tonight and divide the work, we might be able to reconstruct most of it. I can handle the financial projections since I'm pretty familiar with those numbers already, and you can work on rebuilding the timeline and the slide strategy since those were more your area anyway.
You'd really help me with this? I mean, this was entirely my fault. I wouldn't blame you if you were furious with me right now.
Hey, we're a team, aren't we? Besides, I've definitely made my share of mistakes around here. Remember when I accidentally sent that internal memo to a client last year? You helped me sort that out without making me feel terrible about it. This is what colleagues do for each other.
I really appreciate that, Julian. Seriously. I'll grab us some coffee and we can get started right away. And I promise, from now on, I'm only working from the shared drive.
Sounds like a plan. Let's make this happen.
Okay, listeners, we are back. Did you catch some of those useful phrases in there? Derek said, "I've run into a problem, and I could use your input on something." Those are really handy ways to ask for help at work.
Right, and Julian used "let's think through this logically," which is a great alternative to just saying "let's think about it." You could also say "let's break this down step by step," or "let's see what options we have."
Exactly, and expressions like "what's done is done" are super common in English. It's much more natural than saying something like "we cannot change the past."
Good point. Another useful one was, "I wouldn't blame you if." That's a nice way to acknowledge someone else's potential reaction. Anyway, our next scenario is quite different, much more casual and relaxed.
That's right. Now we're moving into talking about where you're from, what makes it special, why someone should visit.
These are the kinds of conversations you have constantly when meeting new people, especially travelers or international friends. It's super practical stuff.
Let's hear how this one goes.
So, I've been thinking about where to go for my vacation next month, and honestly, I have no clue. I need somewhere different, somewhere I haven't been before.
Oh, well, have you ever thought about visiting India? I mean, I know I'm biased because that's where I'm from, but seriously, it's incredible.
India? I've always wanted to go, but it seems so overwhelming. Like, where would I even start? It's massive, right?
It is huge, yeah, but that's part of what makes it amazing. There's just so much variety. Like if you want mountains, beaches, deserts, cities, spiritual places, we've got all of it. The thing is, you don't have to see everything in one trip. You just pick a region and explore that properly.
Okay, so if I were to go, where would you tell me to visit first?
Well, it depends on what you're into. If you want the classic experience, you'd probably start with Rajasthan. That's where you get the palaces, the forts, the whole Royal India vibe. Jaipur, Udaipur, places like that. The architecture is just stunning, and the colors everywhere, it's like nothing you've seen.
Okay, you're selling me on this, but isn't there a risk with street food? I've seen videos online that make me a little nervous about getting sick.
That is a fair concern, but remember, social media tends to exaggerate everything for views. They either show you the absolute worst cases or make things look perfect, so you don't always get the full picture.
That's true. It happens everywhere, but I still need to be careful, right? My stomach isn't used to the water or spices there.
Exactly. It's not that the food is bad, it's just that your system isn't adapted to our environment yet. So play it safe. Stick to the hot and fresh rule. Make sure it's cooked in front of you.
Got it. Cooked fresh. Anything else?
Yes, use your eyes. Look at the stall. Does it look organized? Is the cook keeping things tidy? If a place looks messy or neglected, just skip it. Trust your gut, literally.
Fair enough. So tell me, what do you miss most about India when you're here?
Oh man, so many things. The chaos, actually. I know that sounds weird, but there's this energy in Indian cities that you just don't get anywhere else. It's loud, it's colorful, it's crowded, but it feels alive. And the people, everyone's so welcoming. Like if you look even slightly lost, someone will come up and help you.
That's sweet. I love places where people are friendly like that.
Yeah, hospitality is a big deal in our culture. Oh, and the festivals. If you can time your visit with Diwali or Holi, you're in for something special. Diwali is the festival of lights, so the entire country is just covered in lamps and fireworks. And Holi is the color festival, where everyone throws colored powder at each other. It's complete madness, but so much fun.
Wait, people just throw paint at each other? That's allowed?
Not paint, colored powder. And yes, it's the whole point. You go out wearing old white clothes, expecting to get completely covered in colors. Strangers, friends, everyone's throwing colors and water. You end up looking like a rainbow by the end of it.
That sounds incredible, actually. Very different from anything we do here. What about your hometown specifically? Where exactly are you from?
I'm from Bangalore in the south. It's a big tech city, so it's pretty modern compared to other parts of India. Great weather, lots of parks, amazing coffee culture. South Indian food is different too, lighter and more rice-based. You'd love the dosas there. They're enormous and crispy.
You're really making me want to book a flight right now.
You should. Honestly, just go for it. India isn't always easy to travel through, I'll be honest. It can be chaotic and unpredictable, but that's also what makes it memorable. You'll have stories for years.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm looking up flights tonight, but you have to promise me something.
What's that?
When I go, you need to give me a proper list of places to eat. I'm trusting you with my food experience here.
Deal. I'll make you the ultimate food guide. You're going to come back here 20 pounds heavier, I'm warning you now.
I'm okay with that risk.
All right, listeners. What did you think of that second conversation? I love how natural that conversation was. Naveen wasn't trying to sell India like a tourist brochure. He was just genuinely enthusiastic about sharing what he loves.
Right? And that's the key when you're talking about your own country or city. People can tell when you're being authentic versus just listing facts. Notice how he talked about missing the chaos? That's a personal detail that makes the conversation more interesting.
Exactly. And Lena asked follow-up questions naturally, like when she wanted to know more about the street food. That's how real conversations flow. You pick up on what interests you and dig deeper into those topics rather than just going through a checklist.
Another thing I noticed was how they used expressions like, you know what, and I mean, to make the conversation feel more relaxed. Those little fillers actually make you sound more fluent because native speakers use them constantly.
Great point. And listeners, before we move on to our final conversation, we'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the podcast.
Yeah, and if this episode has been helpful, leave us a like or a comment. It genuinely helps us reach more people who are working on their English, and we read all the feedback.
Now, our last scenario today is quite different from the previous two. It's a bit more tense, actually.
Right. We're going to hear someone making a complaint call to their internet company because of terrible service. These are the kinds of situations nobody wants to deal with, but they happen. Your internet goes down, your bank charges you incorrectly, the phone company does something you never authorized.
And when you're frustrated and you need to get your point across firmly but professionally, Knowing how to express yourself properly becomes really important. You want to be assertive without being rude, and you need to make sure they understand the problem clearly.
Exactly. So let's listen to how this unfolds.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling ConnectNet customer service. My name is Marcus. How can I help you today?
Hi, Marcus. Look, I need to speak with someone about my account because I'm having multiple issues here, and honestly, I've had enough. My internet has been dropping constantly for the past 2 weeks, and now I'm seeing charges on my bill that I never authorized.
I'm sorry to hear you're experiencing difficulties. Let me pull up your account so I can take a look. Can I have your account number or the phone number associated with the account, please?
It's 555-0147, and just so you know, I've called twice already about the internet problem, and nothing's been fixed.
All right, I have your account here, Miss Chen. I can see you've been a customer with us for 3 years. Let me check the notes from your previous calls. Okay, I see there were 2 service tickets opened, one on the 15th and another on the 20th. Can you tell me what's happening with your connection?
It drops out every few hours, sometimes multiple times a day. I work from home, so this is a huge problem for me. I've lost connection during important video calls twice this week alone. I've already reset the router like 10 times. I've unplugged it, waited, plugged it back in, done everything your previous agents told me to do, and nothing works.
I understand how frustrating that must be, especially when you're working. Looking at the diagnostics here, I can see there have been intermittent connection issues from your modem. Has a technician come out to check the equipment?
No, that's part of the problem. Both times I called, they said they'd schedule someone, and no one ever showed up. I took time off work waiting for technicians that never came. No call, no explanation, nothing.
That's completely unacceptable, and I apologize for that. There should have been communication about those appointments. Let me make a note of that. Now, you also mentioned unauthorized charges on your bill?
Yes, I'm looking at my statement right now, and there's a charge for something called Premium Sports Package for $35 a month. I never asked for that. I don't even watch sports. And there's another charge for equipment upgrade that I definitely didn't request.
Let me review your billing history. Okay, I can see the Premium Sports Package was added to your account on the 23rd of last month, and the equipment upgrade charge is from the 1st of this month. Do you recall receiving any promotional calls or emails about these services?
I might have gotten some promotional emails, but I never clicked on anything or agreed to add these services. How does something just get added to my account without my explicit permission? This feels like you're just padding my bill with things I don't want.
I completely understand your concern, Ms. Chen. Sometimes these packages can be added if there is an automatic enrollment from a promotion, but you absolutely should have received clear notification and the option to opt out. That's our policy. Let me see what I can do here. I'm going to remove both of those charges from your account right now, and I'll credit you back for the charges from last month as well.
Okay, that's a start, but what about my internet service? Because if that doesn't get fixed, I'm going to have to look at switching providers, and I really don't want to deal with that hassle.
I don't want you to have to switch either. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm scheduling a priority service call for tomorrow between 2 and 4 p.m. I'm flagging this as urgent in the system, and I'm going to personally follow up to make sure the technician arrives. Can I have the best contact number to reach you?
It's the same number as my account, my mobile. But Marcus, I need you to understand that I can't take another afternoon off work for nothing. If someone doesn't show up tomorrow, I'm done.
I completely understand, and I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. I'm also noting in your account that if the technician needs to replace any equipment due to a fault on our end, there will be no charge to you whatsoever. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, I think that covers it, but I'm holding you to this appointment tomorrow. No, I think that covers it, but I'm holding you to this appointment tomorrow.
Absolutely. You'll receive a confirmation text within the next hour with the appointment details and my direct extension if you need to reach me. Is there anything else?
That's all. Thank you for actually listening and doing something about this.
Of course, Ms. Chen. Thank you for your patience. And again, I apologize for the inconvenience. We'll get this sorted out for you.
Those calls are the worst, aren't they? Nobody enjoys having to complain, but sometimes you just have no choice.
Exactly. And Rachel handled it really well, actually. She was firm but professional. Did you catch some of the phrases she used? Like, I've had enough, or I'm done. Those express frustration clearly without being aggressive.
Right, and she said honestly a lot, which emphasizes that you're being straightforward. Another useful one was, just so you know, when she mentioned she'd already called twice. That's a polite way to give important context up front.
Good catch. And when she said this is a huge problem for me, she was explaining the impact, not just complaining. That's really effective because it helps the agent understand why it matters so much.
Absolutely. On the agent's side, Marcus used phrases like, "That's completely unacceptable," and "I apologize for that," which acknowledged the problem. If you're ever on the receiving end of a complaint, those are good phrases to know.
Yeah, and "let me see what I can do here" is a really common way customer service reps show they're taking action. Another one was, "I'm going to personally follow up," which adds accountability.
One more thing I noticed. Rachel used "I might have" when talking about the promotional emails. That's softer than saying "I don't remember" and keeps the conversation less confrontational.
True. And expressions like padding my bill mean adding extra unnecessary charges. That's a useful term if you ever need to describe that situation.
For sure. These conversations are never fun, but knowing how to navigate them in English makes them a lot less stressful.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We covered quite a bit, didn't we?
We really did. From workplace mistakes to talking about travel, and then handling those frustrating customer service calls. 3 very different situations, but all super relevant to real life.
Exactly. And remember, the more you expose yourself to these kinds of conversations, the more natural they'll feel when you actually need to use them. It's all about building that confidence.
Right? Don't worry if you didn't catch everything the first time. You can always come back and listen again, pause, replay sections. That's the beauty of podcasts.
And if you found this helpful, share it with someone else who's working on their English. Learning with others makes the journey more enjoyable.
Absolutely. We'll be back soon with more conversations and practical scenarios for you to learn from.
Until then, take care, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone!